Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It is Thursday, June the 30th, 2022. It's another Technical Alpha podcast. Glad you could join us here today. If it's your first time, welcome. Talking about movies, video games, television, everything in between. It just keeps evolving as time goes on, much like my hairline. It just keeps changing, and you never know where it's going to stop. Hopefully somewhere, and preferably not at the very back of my head. Got another great show lined up for you today, although admittedly, it's a little fucking short. There's nothing to happen this week. Apparently the whole world of video games and even movies and TV was a bit of a stretch to put together a show. Literally nothing happened for the entire week in our segment for this podcast, so we're going to do our best to at least make this long enough to get you through a poop break at work. Make it happen one way or the other. But before we start, got the most important question of the week. Mr. Black, how's your week?
Just another week. Finally back in the grind again. So I'm not, I'm safe to say I'm pretty much completely over COVID now.
Yes. How is Kayla and Kai, or how are Kayla and Kai?
Yeah, Kayla's back to normal and Kai's back to normal. So
wonderful.
We kind of have more so Kayla, a bit of a lingering cough, but I hear a cough maybe twice in a day. But outside of that, everybody's feeling fine. Yeah, we should be able to socialize again here pretty soon.
Wonderful.
So, yeah.
Excellent. Yeah. Anything else this week? That was the show? Incredible.
That's the show.
Amazing.
That's it.
Not even in your life did anything happen. Apparently there's just no news anywhere. I'm no different.
My life is pretty boring, so it's not like much happens in my life anyway, so.
I didn't know nothing really exciting happened on this end either, I guess, for the most part. Just another week working at the house and that's it. Also exciting. I'm almost done Persona 5 Royal after the longest playthrough in the history of fucking video games. I'm a really slow video game player to begin with. I was never particularly fast. I was always painfully slow. And then you add streaming on top of that. And you're stopping to talk to people, and you get sidetracked, and you're just you're distracted. Unless you're somebody that just some streamers will hide their chat entirely and just not even fucking look at it, so they can just focus on what they're doing. That's definitely not me. So I'm in the world's longest freaking playthrough of this game. I'm almost there. I got either tonight. If I stream tonight, it will be tonight, and if not, it will be tomorrow. Finally, the end of the game. We've made it. Exciting stuff. Then I have to figure out what I'm going to play next. I didn't have plans for this. I thought I was going to be in the house by now. I thought there's no way I could possibly play Skyrim and Persona 5 Royal in their entirety and somehow not be done in the home. So now I need to find another game. I don't know what that's going to be yet, but I'll figure something out. I was already looking at all the summer deals, because I've got no money, so I'm looking for all the deals now. I'm looking where are the hot video game deals at, and haven't spotted a hell of a lot. That was actually coincidentally that was how I ended up playing Persona 5. It was on sale at the time, and so I'll be looking to see what I might get my hands on, but no major front runners just yet. But yeah, the house is coming along. We got the kitchen is more or less done now in the apartment. We finished doing all the cabinets and stuff. Just kind of what's the fancy term that they use on HGTV? Upcycling. Is that what they call it? It's basically don't buy new shit. Is really what it is, the fancy term for repaint some old stuff. That's what we've been doing. We took the cabinets and repainted some old stuff. And they look dramatically better. We cleaned them up too, because it was years and years and years of gunk all over them, and got them hung back up, and now we're probably a day or so away from doing the flooring in the kitchen, and another step closer to completion. I believe Novidad over there today was painting some trim. We had a minor hiccup with painting the trim. For some reason, they were originally urethaned woodwork, doors, trim, windows, all of it urethane. But like one coat, like the cheapest urethane job that has ever been fucking done in the history of residential properties. And so we had sanded them down, and if you've never tried to paint over top of urethane with today's paints that don't have like fancy things like lead in the paint, and just using your good old-fashioned, like, you know, latex-based stuff or whatever the fuck else. Here's the problem. It doesn't cover anything. Like ever. It will continue, because it's water in it, the water will pull urethane, it will pull sap, it will pull anything that isn't sealed up through, and you've got to put like 710 coats of literally anything to be able to cover something. So we had used a Zinsser product, which is oil-based, in order to do the priming to try and stop any of that bleed through, which was great and worked. The problem is that when we started painting over some areas, the Zinsser was so smooth that the latex paint wouldn't grab onto the fucking primer, so it would sheet, it would pool, and so there'd be splotches of the woodwork where there was no paint, because the paint did not have enough viscosity to hold to the. So I was like, well, fuck me. I got halfway into Brian's bedroom. I was painting it was fine in the closet, got it in the bedroom, and all of a sudden I was like, painting it pooled, and I was like, fuck. I went back over with my brush, and then I'd go back 2 minutes later, pooled, fuck, painted again, pooled again, fuck. And I was like, all right, fine, we gotta do something about it. So we tried a couple other spots out in the hallway. It was happening there. I was ready to friggin' put my hand through a wall, then I realized I'd have to patch it, so I stopped myself. And just try to come up with a solution. So Dad was like, all right, well, why don't we just hit it with some like stupid high grit sandpaper, like 200 or 220. And so we did, and it seemed to work, and so that was our solution. But yeah, the weird shit that you come across trying to not just buy new trim and just paint over top of everything else, but if you've ever done like any kind of renovation with anyone who's over the age of, let's say, 60, and has ever done like a lot of work themselves on homes, every one of them is going to complain about how shitty our paint is today, because the reality is, lead, if you don't lick the fucking wall, was really useful in paint. But now, especially exterior paint, but now you can't really use that like exterior. So you're, instead of doing it drives Dad nuts, like the family home out in the valley. Grandfather painted that house like twice in his tenure there, and he was there for like 60 years. It's like you put the fucking paint on the wall, or the paint on the exterior walls. It was good for like 15, 20 fucking years at a time. Now you put the paint on the wall, 4 years in, the shit's peeling off like a son of a bitch, and there's nothing you can do but spend another 10 grand paying somebody to come over and scrape the house and paint it again, or make it look like your house is falling apart because the paint isn't sticking to the fucking walls. Anyway. I'm done filling time, but that's been my week over at the house.
All right.
Bring back lead, Mr. Black. Fuck the kids. Let them lick the walls. And whatever fuck the water supply outside. Well, a little lead we got through before. They got chlorine now. Fuck it. Double up. We'll be fine. Video game news, Mr. Black. Again, not a lot this week. So I'm going to do the best we got here. I scoured the interwebs, and this was all I could find. I don't know what the official stance is for Overwatch at this point, because they haven't outright said, but their actions are kind of speaking for themselves, Mr. Black. They don't need to say anything. Their actions speak louder than words, as the saying goes. Whether it's a sequel or a major update, well, I think we know the answer to that now, even though they haven't said. It has now been announced by Blizzard this week that Overwatch 2 will in fact completely replace the original title, and the original will no longer be playable as of October. So for all of their humming and hawing and not wanting to say whether or not this was technically a sequel, or if it was DLC, or or if it was just basically an elaborate patch. This is your answer. It is completely replacing the original. So if you like the original and you're not a big fan of 2, which I don't know why, because it's quite literally the same video game. There you go. Calling it Overwatch 2 was a bit of a joke, but here we are. I still think that their plans were much more grandiose, and then they clawed them back to a point where now here we are, and it's basically a patch. But all the same, October original Overwatch is out the door. You won't be playing it anymore because it's going to be called Overwatch 2, and it's the same fucking game. So, go nuts. Great news for big fans of Miyazaki, and if you don't know who that is, you probably don't care, but Miyazaki is the mind behind the Dark Souls franchise, amongst others, in the canon of the Souls-like games, like Bloodborne, for example, and, of course, Elden Ring. In an interview this last week, he said that there is an unannounced project that he's working on that's in the final stages of development, and so probably not too far off from us finding out what that project is, and apparently not that far out from it being released, although I would still say maybe another year or so. He said that he's going to continue to direct games. That's what his primary focus wants to continue to be, and is already working on his next game. Meanwhile, he also wanted to let everyone know that Elden Ring will continue to receive updates going forward for quite some time. And when asked why he thought, or why they thought at FromSoft, why Elden Ring was just so freaking popular, especially compared to previous games in their series, their response was, "We don't know." Very insightful. Doesn't really matter. In their minds, they're thinking, I don't know, I don't care, I don't question it. Is it popular? Yes, great. Amazing. Let's have more of that. Whatever it is. Brace for British, Mr. Black, but don't worry, I will not damage your ears with my terrible British accent here. Final Fantasy XVI producer confirmed this week that it uses British English only for the game. And further than that, other Canadians or Americans will not be lending their terrible British accents. It will be exclusively Europeans. They're going all in. We're getting super British Final Fantasy XVI, which I guess is kind of the equivalent of one or two of the characters from Final Fantasy XII. So fuck it, why not? I guess it lends itself to the theme. Hopefully, the British accents bring with it better writing. We can only hope. I really don't give a shit about the fucking accents. You could have told me a Mexican was doing an amazing British accent. I'd be like, awesome. Give me whatever that is. I don't know what it would sound like, but give it to me. Hopefully it would sound British. Somehow it was the last platform to receive it, Mr. Black, but after announcements for PS5, PC, and even Xbox releases, the Switch will finally be getting Persona 3, 4, and 5 as of this October, although I think October is just Persona 5, 4, and 3, like the other platforms come later. And I just have in my notes here, finally Atlas decided to make some money. I've been shitting on them for years. They seem to be money averse. They just don't like money. It's like they want to forever just be a small indie developer, even though there's just enormous amounts of money being left on the table. Now that 3, 4, and 5 are going to be available on PC, PlayStation, Xbox, and Switch, I will be very intrigued as to just how much extra money they have magically generated for themselves by doing so. And hopefully what it leads to is their ability to make bigger and crazier and more amazing games in the future. Although maybe not bigger, because I'm already 230 hours into Persona 5, and bigger might just actually kill me. So let's just stick with maybe better. Related to this, however, even though it would be in the next segment, technically speaking, they do plan on also, apparently, like everyone else, doing some sort of live-action related television series or movie series based on their properties in the future. So brace for high school dating simulator Netflix special with demons and penis chariots and themes of suicide and sexual assault and political intrigue, all wrapped up by teenagers. It's the Japanese way. I was just talking about this on the stream the other day. Like the running gag for me is pretty much every Japanese RPG in history is just, here's a bunch of 16-year-olds killing God. That's basically what every JRPG boils down to. How many high schoolers can we cram into a single game that go on to kill God? And it hasn't changed in 35 fucking years. We're still getting teenagers killing God, and hopefully it never changes. Well, maybe like, could we like age them up a little bit? Because I feel like, back in the day we got baited. If you didn't open up the booklet to see how old some of these characters were, and you were like, like fawning over some of the girls in the games, and then you go back years later and you're like, huh! They were 15! What the hell? Japan, not everyone has low fucking age limits like some places, alright? Maybe age them up. 25 or some shit, get a little older. Sony is entering the monitor and headphone space for, well, I guess the PlayStation side specifically, not just Sony, because clearly Sony has been making both TVs and headphones for quite some time. But these are very specific to the PlayStation, I suppose, although they work with the PC environment as well. I gotta be honest, I'm a little underwhelmed. Maybe the reviews come out and they'll be like incredible, but I'm kind of underwhelmed. I'm gonna quickly go over this so Jeff doesn't completely fall asleep with Tech Talk.
Oh boy.
That's why I made this the shortest thing possible. Great news though, Mr. Black. They named their monitors after BMWs. So that means they're gonna go super fast and be super amazing and be worth all the money that they're gonna charge for them. You got two options on the monitor side, the M3 and the M9. I don't think BMW's done an M9 yet, but just give them long enough, they'll get there. The number will keep going up. The monitors are 4K 144 Hz and 1080p 240 respectively. So if you have 17 3090 Ti's and actually plan on pushing 4K 144, great news. The monitor can do just that if you step up into the M9. The M9 is HDR 600 rated while the M3 is 400. Those are okay. I wouldn't bother putting HDR on anything underneath 600. The C1, for example, or similar to Jeff's to a degree, Jeff's would be maybe 500 because his OLED is first generation, but the C1, so last year's OLED and this year's would be floating in and around 600, and that's just enough that when you turn HDR on, your eyes go, oh, there's a difference. Basically everything below that, you're turning it on and you're telling yourself there's a difference, and your eyes are like, bruh, I can't fucking see any difference between these two images. Everyone should be hopefully, and they are, pretty much every television manufacturer, including OLED manufacturers, are shooting for 1,000, but for now, 600, yeah, good enough. 400 though, don't even bother. Just fucking leave that shit in SDR. Both come with the perfect for PS5 thing that they talked about, Sony talked about a while back. So perfect for PS5 is apparently the best moniker they come up with for this. Where the PS5, when you plug it into one of these monitors, knows what the monitor is, senses it, and then auto sets the HDR settings of the console to match the monitor. Taking one step out of the loop for people that don't know what they're doing, perhaps, when setting up HDR, which is lovely stuff. Really? Would I buy a monitor specifically for that? No. But is it nice that it's there? Yeah, okay. Why not? Because most people wouldn't know what the fuck they're doing when it comes to HDR. I just said a bunch of words. I must be speaking Latin to 99.9% of people. But that's why I just try and keep it simple. Like, is it under 600? Don't fucking care about it. It's that simple. The M3 is $500, while the M9 is around 900 USD as your entry points. The M9 also comes with full array local dimming. If you don't know what that means, draw a whole bunch of fucking checkerboard squares on your TV. Let's say 800 of them. That would be a decent amount of local dimming zones. Each one of those zones can be turned off or on. So let's say you're watching, like, let's say you're shooting yourself in the foot and you're watching that really mid space movie with fucking what was it, Gravity. Let's say you're watching Gravity because you hate yourself and you want to go to sleep. You put that on and there's lots of stars, there's lots of black space and little white dots, and the contrast between those two is very important. Well, they can turn off each one of those zones to make it super black. Unfortunately, unlike OLEDs, which can turn each individual pixel off, sometimes you're going to get dim stars because of that, so the more zones the better. That's all that is, which is obviously way better than back in the day where there were no local dimming. You just got whatever the fuck the monitor could do. So it's a little better. M3 is in that last category that we don't fucking care. Just here's the monitor. M9, a little bit fancier. The headphones, to be brief, they're headphones. Literally nothing about these headphones or anything to write home about. They look like something that you could put on your head that would deliver sound. And apparently they work with the PS5 to deliver that 3D audio thing that they took like half of their original press conference for to talk about how fancy their 3D audio was, and you could hear every fucking raindrop from every position. It's that. They can do that. And apparently they still work with a PC. So if you care about that, then by all means go for it. I didn't see any prices for them, but there are 3 models, a 3, a 7, and a 9. Bet you can't guess that it gets better as you go up in numbers. Really at 9 you get all your bells and whistles. You get that faux leather pleather thing that sweats your head to death if you're into that kind of shit. And noise canceling functionality. You know, the bougie shit. You get that. I have no idea how much it's going to cost, but there you go. If they end up being any good, I'll let you know. But they're trying to break into this stuff. I find it kind of weird. Their naming for all of this is oh fuck. I didn't even write it down in my notes. They have a really weird, super gamery name for this series of stuff. But either way, there you go. Sony is doing their best. Despite rumors of the contrary, Cory Barlog announced this week that God of War Ragnarok is in fact not being delayed and is still happening to be shipping later this year. News around the game not having a trailer for a final release date, I should say, has made lots of neckbeards very upset on the internet, Jeff. Even though they know they're going to buy the game anyway, and that it is apparently going to come out at the end of the year. They're still super salty that they don't have a release date for it so that they can, I guess, call in sick to work 4 months in advance and book lots of time so that they can no-life God of War Ragnarok. More than one, apparently, so angry, so seething, that they decided that the way to try and get a release date out of the developers was to find one of the leading female staff members on Twitter and DM her dick pics demanding information on the release date. You might be able to figure out that they did not receive a release date for sending a dick pic, but they did get chastised on Twitter for doing so. What is it with dudes sending dick pics? I've never figured that shit out. Apparently they think that anyone wants to see their penis. Like it's some sort of attractive thing to look at, let alone the fact that the odds are most people sending dick pics probably don't have an impressive dick to begin with. Like you don't, because if you've got a mastodon dick, you have the confidence you don't need to send a dick pic. You have big dick energy. So if you're sending a dick pic to somebody, odds are it's because you're looking for somebody to be like, oh wow, yes, woo, that's a nice penis you got there. What can I do for you today? Like, what do you get out of sending a dick pic? That's never gone well, ever. It's well documented. Every woman to have ever received one has, lambasted dudes online forever, and yet they still do it. I will never fucking understand it. It's crazy. Well, again, proving that nobody gives a shit about your dick. They did not get a release date for God of War Ragnarok. Big shocker on that one. But, yeah. And that's as exciting as I could make the video game news this week, Mr. Black. That is all. Wow. That is all that existed in the last 7 days. Dick pics for Ragnarok. That's all I got, which means it's already time to sell out. You can get right into the sellout, Mr. Black.
Patreon.com/lagtv. Head on over there, throw some money at the screen, support the podcast. NordVPN. If you guys don't already have a VPN service, go to www.nordvpn.com/OTT. Or if you're on YouTube, just click the link in the description. Get a massive discount plus a bonus month when you get a 2-year subscription. Stay safe. Stay anonymous on the internet. Watch different regions of Netflix and other streaming services at the click of a button.
Send a dick pic or 3. I don't know.
Or don't.
Or don't.
One of the two. All right? Or don't do that. One way or another, get yourself NordVPN, guys. Support the podcast, support the sponsor, and support yourself. because it's a crazy world out there. It is 2022. If you don't already have a VPN, you're lost. Get one. All right, run out there and make it happen.
Act now.
Act now
before it's too late.
That's it.
I have a tangent to the sellout here, where when I went to go post the tech support today on Patreon, I noticed that the Patreon had gone up quite a bit.
Oh, really?
And I was like, wow. And so I went and looked. I was like, holy shit, oh, wow, how did that happen? And as it turns out, it's because one, I'm not going to give the full name, but one Mr. Zach dropped $250.
Damn.
Zach came in hard. Zach came in like it was 2015.
Damn, Zach.
Zach went Oprah money like it was 2015. This podcast just started and everyone was high on the rush of the Lag TV podcast. He's coming in hot.
Let's go, Zach.
Now, Zach, if you're listening, in the not too distant future, you will have to, if you want the stuff anyway, I'll be sending out that message in the next couple months to re-get everyone's
You're getting everything, Zach.
shit.
You're getting everything.
You get all of it. You're getting all of it,
and
except
some.
for a dick pic. I
you
can't
might get
promise
one of
you
that if you keep this 250 going.
Okay, it's not going to be mine though. Nobody wants to see that. No, I don't even want to see that shit. We said somebody. It'll be somebody's. We won't say who. It might not even be one of us. Somebody's. So it's like a grab bag of dick pics.
Thank you, Zach.
Thank you, Zach. And now it's time to move on to
movies and TV.
A rumor that didn't last long but was entertaining to think about all the same. Mr. Johnny Depp was allegedly offered $301 million. And I put this in parentheses. Of course, you might remember that during the trial, he said he wouldn't go back for $300 million. So I thought it was kind of cute that it was a rumor for $301 million. To reprise his role as Jack Sparrow. Fortunately or unfortunately, depending on how you might look at it, his representatives came out and said, nope, didn't happen. And I got a little sad.
Who the hell gets paid $300 million to do a movie?
Maybe it wasn't to do a movie, but like it was like come back, reprise your role, and keep it for X period of time, kind of an idea.
Like a five movie deal.
I will say, all right. So here's my question to you, Mr. Black. Assuming that Johnny did decide to go back, it would probably have to be quite a fucking deal in order to happen. If you're Johnny Depp and you already have lots of money, because he doesn't need money anymore. Johnny Depp is long since made. Man owns an island, for God's sake. He does not need more money. What is the deal that brings you back to play Captain Jack Sparrow?
$301 million and a public apology from Disney.
I think the second part's probably even more important than the first, no?
Well, I mean, the second part has to come regardless. Whether it's a $50 million deal, $300 million deal, $500 million deal, or to work on any Disney project ever again. Not even Captain Jack Sparrow. We're talking like any role.
Yes.
Disney's got to come out publicly and apologize to Johnny Depp straight up.
Yeah.
And if I was them, I'd probably be doing it anyway.
Yeah.
But Disney is on one anyway. That company is going to shit over the last few years. So I highly doubt it'll happen. But yeah, I don't think Johnny Depp's going back to work with Disney anyway.
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think so either. Like if I was in Johnny's shoes, I would want the public apology first and foremost, and then if I was doing it, I would only do it if you gave me, and this would never happen, which is why I would table it. I said I'll come back, but you're going to publicly apologize, and I'm going to get intellectual property rights to Jack Sparrow because I am Jack Sparrow. Anyone else you put in that role, nobody's ever going to see him as Jack Sparrow. So just give me the rights and all that comes with it. And then I'll come back and I'll make you some money. But a lot of it's going to go into my pocket in perpetuity anytime you use that character. They'll never do it.
It won't
happen.
But yeah.
But that's what you table. You're like, I'll come back. But that's the terms. Speaking of something else I didn't think would ever happen, Cameron Diaz is apparently set to make a return to the big screen for the first time in a while. That has to be like 10 years or more at this point. I mean, it's been a hot minute since I've even heard the name Cameron Diaz, let alone seen her in anything. She will be apparently starring alongside Jamie Foxx in the Netflix action comedy, almost ironically called Back in Action. So Cameron Diaz is back in action, starring in Back in Action.
There you go.
I don't know when that's happening, but sure. You know what? Making a comeback on Netflix. Action comedy is a safe one to do. Action comedy with Jamie Foxx, even safer. I think it will probably go over just fine. She'll probably do well. I'm sure there are reasons. Maybe it was family or anything. Like, there's a myriad of reasons why she would have done it this way. But I wonder what the reason was to go away for so long, because she was so prolific for like this pocket of time, and then just like, you know, dipped. It must have been family or something like that.
Well,
I have
her
to
box
assume.
office was kind of dog shit. She hadn't done anything crazy. Probably just wasn't getting any roles that she wanted.
That's also fair, I suppose. Charlie's Angels only take you so far, Mr. Black.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't give a shit about Cameron Diaz, to be perfectly honest.
I don't wish ill of her. I hope I hope she did.
But I'm not like excited to see a Cameron Diaz film on Netflix. I just don't. Whatever.
No.
But I'll probably watch it because it's Jamie Foxx and Cameron Diaz. So sure, I'll check it out. It's on Netflix.
Sounds plausible.
Good place for it to be, because if it was in theater, I wouldn't be checking it out.
Yeah, no shot. The Mad Lads did it. This happened just an hour and change ago. Logan Paul earlier today signed with the WWE. There's a picture of him, Stephanie McMahon, and Triple H up on stage as he signed his contract. I don't know the extent of what that contract is, or what kind of a role he will play. But I will say this, after watching his match and interactions at Mania, he's better than 95% of the fucking active roster. He's more athletic. He's better on a microphone because he was bred to do that shit off of YouTube. And he is a born asshole, which is a great trifecta. That's like the holy fucking trinity for making a very popular and good wrestler. Insanely athletic, good on a microphone, and when needed, can be an asshole. Great. Done. I swear to God, I said in my notes here, if he takes it seriously, which he seems to be a guy that when he goes in on something, he goes in on some shit. It's like when he took boxing, nobody took him seriously that he was going to do boxing. You know, he's not the greatest boxer of all time, but clearly the guy trained his fucking ass off to box and became a not horrific boxer. He's incredibly athletic and did very well in that Mania shit. So if he takes it seriously, and if WWE utilizes him appropriately, I think he's got a legitimate shot at being very good. Let's say that. Very good for doing very well for himself and for the WWE, who has, as far as I'm concerned, been struggling to combat two fronts. One, a sort of waning overall interest in wrestling in general, and two, having a legitimate competitor in the AEW who every time they lose somebody, they immediately show up at AEW the following night, and then it's just like, even if it's for a short term, it always looks like a dunk on the WWE the next day on social media. So very interested to see how that all goes, and I hope he takes it seriously, because God, I would love to be able to watch wrestling and take it seriously again. AEW does a pretty good job of it. I think they're getting close. But I would die to go back and relive the Monday Night Wars between WCW and the WWF. That would be the dream. In sad news, Mr. Black, at least sad for me, Christian Bale has said that both Peter Dinklage and Jeff Goldblum's scenes have been cut from Thor: Love and Thunder. They're not in the movie anymore.
Rip.
Cut for time. How do you cut Jeff Goldblum for time? I'm gonna find other scenes If I got Jeff Goldblum walking in the background as an extra, I will leave that shit in before I cut Jeff Goldblum out of a fucking scene in a movie. But yeah, there you go. But this is not new. I feel like this movie has had like several times where they've announced, I think it was like Moon Knight and like 2 or 3 others that were like, yeah, they're in the movie. And then they came out later and were like, oops, they're no longer in the movie. Or
Well, they'll
some
be in
shit.
some sort of extended cut, right? They'll come out
Yeah.
with some shit on the Blu-ray and whatnot, and you'll see the scenes.
5-hour extended cut, director's cut.
I think the actual full cut of one of the full cuts of the movie is 4 hours. So I think they're gonna, So I think the theatrical one's much shorter, but I think the one they're gonna put on Blu-ray, you'll be able to watch like a 4-hour cut.
Holy Hannah, 4 hours.
Yeah.
This is the Lord of the Rings extended here. That shit is that's lengthy.
Pretty much.
I mean, I like me some Thor movies, but 4 hours of Thor movie, that is a
lot.
That's a lot to ask of me and my bladder. But you know what? If it means I get to see Jeff Goldblum, fuck it. I'll give 4-hour Thor: Love and Thunder. And last but not least, somebody else who probably should have been cut for screen time, R. Kelly. 30 years in prison. Officially been sentenced as of sometime late yesterday, if I'm not mistaken. And finally going away for, like, bordering on the most obvious cut and dry case in the history of grooming and bordering on sex. I don't know if they hit him with the sex trafficking or if it was just grooming or what. I didn't read what the eventual, like, what they labeled it. But man,
I have no idea.
One of the hardest things I've ever watched was the surviving R. Kelly documentary. That shit was rough to sit through.
Yep.
Did you watch that?
I did. Yeah.
Fuck me, dude. And it's the worst part is that we've talked about this before a couple of times, but the concept of being able to separate the artist from the art kind of deal. There's a line for that. And unfortunately for me, every time I hear an R. Kelly song now, no matter how much I like it, I can't separate the art from the artist. I can't be like, oh, I'll just forget about R. Kelly and listen to Ignition again. Yeah, that's never gonna happen. I can almost, fly like an eagle or whatever. Like I could make that leap in my mind because it's not obviously referencing young women, but Ignition remix, now you can't listen to it anymore. It's literally, you can't, if you know about him, maybe if you've never heard anything about him before, you'll be like, oh, this song's sick. And then you get told about it once and you go, fuck, now I can never listen to this song ever again. It's ruined.
I'm like, I don't listen to R. Kelly music, but if it's on, not gonna lie, man, it's a vibe. It's a vibe.
That's because he's good.
Yeah.
That's what's so shit is he's so good, but he was an asshole. Clearly.
Yes. I don't think we'll ever see him again, man. I don't think he's making it out of prison.
No, 30 years, and it's not like he's going in with a bunch of money.
Nah, he ain't coming out.
He's done on that one. I did find it interesting because I don't have this, but Ghislaine or Ghislaine, I don't know how to fucking pronounce that name.
The
Maxwell,
one that helped, Epstein. Yeah,
she got 20 years and a $700 and something thousand fine. But I found it kind of funny, and maybe because it was just an evidence difference that she got 10 years less than R. Kelly, given what we basically know, to my knowledge anyway. Like again, I've seen at least 2 documentaries outlining the evidence against her and Epstein, and it's not shocking that Epstein was oopsed, and now we got to wait and see if she's oopsed at the same time. But I did find it interesting that she got far less time than R. Kelly for very similar circumstances. But the good news is, I guess, in general, is that they both got convicted. It's a small victory. Yep. It's a small victory. I guess the last, the trifecta of almost still having faith in the justice system now would be if the January 6th committee manages to pin anything on one of several people involved in the January. Then people might go, okay, there's still some hope left. There we could do something. Yeah, all right, we could work with that. R. Kelly's gone, Maxwell's gone, some people involved in that fucking nonsense gone. Great. Shit, Johnny Depp won. I mean, well, we got there's still some light at the end of the tunnel.
Don't hold your breath, though.
No, I'm definitely not going to do that. That's for sure. I wish I had more. That's the entirety of all news from both segments for the entire week. Did you see anything this week, Mr. Black? Did you watch anything?
No. But
fuck.
But there is officially announced now that there'll be another Game of Thrones project.
Whoa!
And it's going to be all about Jon Snow, and it is going to be a sequel to Game of Thrones.
So does that mean
means we could possibly see Tyrion again and the Starks and
Kit, I'm assuming, is reprising his role for this?
It was his idea.
Oh,
and so he is signed on to do the series, and we'll see what happens.
I guess related to that was when they were, not that it would have made sense, especially if it's a sequel, but they were asking what's her name, Emily Clark, if she was going to ever.
Is it Emily?
Amelia? Is Amelia? Is it Amelia?
Amelia.
It might be Amelia. Who, if she was ever going to come back to reprise her role, and then outside of the fact that it would have to be, some sort of weird prequel thing or something, or some other thing that would make sense.
She's alive. The dragon took her away. We don't see her body. We don't know what happened. It was
too dark to see her body, Jeff. Nobody could see it, no matter how you tuned your TV.
That's true.
She could be in there. You never know. She said no. But you know what that sounds like? That sounds like I'm open to ideas if you pay me.
Oh, yeah. I mean, her career is like kind of meh, and so is Kid Harington. So
yeah. This is like Kit Harington didn't get called up immediately to become the next Bond, so he was like, "Fuck, I need to go back and play Jon Snow."
Yeah, they threw him in a couple of Marvel movies, and they barely put him in. And any of his movies that he starred in just did dog shit. So may as well get that Game of Thrones money.
I guess he's still going to be doing the Marvel stuff because he's an actual character in he's going to end up playing.
Yeah.
An actual character. I can't remember which character that is off the top of my head.
I think he's gonna be in Blade.
Yeah. Incredible. There you go. Other than that, I didn't watch. We didn't watch any. Well, that's a lie. That is a lie. Last night we watched Multiverse.
Oh.
Multiverse of Madness.
Oh.
Which was probably a mid-movie before watching Everything Everywhere All at Once, but now is a super mid-movie, having seen it before. So, man, I'm not going to sit here and say that it was a shit movie, because I don't necessarily think it was shit. But I will say this is the first Marvel movie that I watched where I said, okay, Marvel needs electroshock therapy or some they need something to get out of this. They're in too much of a routine. They've been married for 30 years. They've been fucking a missionary for all 30, and now somebody needs to say the elephant in the room is I'm tired of missionary, and can we at least roll over? Something needs to happen to make this whole thing more interesting, because there's only so many more times that I can watch these films for their quippy, diminishing return one-liners that they have that are in this movie were delivered worse than any other Marvel movie that I saw previous. And there's only so much that you can, pull the wool over my eyes with fancy effects, because the problem is they weren't fancy. This movie looked like it hadn't been put through the final fucking, pass in special effects, which has been an increasing problem for their movies in general anyway. It's just that it stood out in this one because there's so many effects. It's a kaleidoscope. They literally kaleidoscope your ass in this movie 2 or 3 different times. And it doesn't look good any of the times that it happens. And I will say the other thing that the feeling that I got from it was this was Sam Raimi, I think, that directed this.
Yeah, Sam Raimi, yeah.
Raimi. So it felt like, I could be wrong, but this is what the feeling it gave me anyway when I was watching it, is that Raimi, if he didn't have Disney to stop him, Raimi would have turned this into bordering on horror and an R-rated fucking film. It's like he wanted to take Wanda and turn her into a literal horror sequence, and he got some of that in there. The House of Mouse was like, we'll let you do that. We'll let you get away with this. We can't show this happening, but you can imply it, and we can like have a couple of these things happening. But like, and so all that happened was it felt like somebody attempted to do horror, and it was just like they sprinkled horror on top of like comedy instead, and it didn't fucking quite accomplish what it set out to. But I think it would have been really cool if they allowed that to happen, because the like Wanda and the Scarlet Witch like as characters are dark as fuck. I mean, they're super dark. They like if there was a character that I could think of outside of Wolverine that would have been able to get away with an R-rated film, it's a film surrounding the Scarlet Witch. So I liked where he was trying to go with it, but I feel like he was handcuffed and not able to fully realize what he wanted to, is what it felt like. Maybe that's not the case, but that's what it felt like. It felt like a Disney hamstrung cut of what he was really trying to go after. I'm still kind of at odds with where they're trying to place Wanda and the Scarlet Witch in the hierarchy of power in Marvel as far as the movies are concerned. Because if you go by the comics, apparently Wanda theoretically in Scarlet Witch form would have just shown up and fucking dunked absolutely everything with no effort whatsoever. But it was like, at one point she's literally limping down a hallway, and I was like, what? What? But you know what was even better? She was limping down a hallway, keeping up with the other people who were in full sprint. So like Doctor Strange and the girl with the most ironic fucking name in comic book history, and the best ass in Hollywood running down the fucking hallway, and behind them is the Walking Dead version of Wanda, who's like fucking limp sprinting, keeping up with them in full run. Very odd. Some very weird shit in there. It was, they had a couple of like, I guess, surprises. Even if you like watched the trailer, you knew what was gonna happen or who was gonna show up, for example. Yeah, so I wouldn't say it's a bad movie. I'd just say it felt confused, but more than that, it felt tired. This is Marvel being tired now. We're running out of runway here. We need some new life, and this wasn't it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really have much to add. The movie was pretty dog shit, to be honest, and I didn't enjoy it really. It felt preachy at times. It felt cliche. It felt boring. Special effects were pretty bad. It was a strange movie, but yet it felt more like a Wanda movie, which also felt weird because a lot of it just contradicted everything Wanda just went through in WandaVision. It felt out of place. It just felt generic and bland and boring and unnecessary and
Got any more adjectives in there?
give me a second. No, I think that's probably good enough.
That's it?
That's all I got. It sucked.
Was it morbid at any point?
I wouldn't say morbid. It was dead. It was dead on arrival. It was just bad. It's just dog shit. It's just not good. It's just not a good movie.
I will say, and I'm sure the character in the comics is also called America. I think her last name's Chavez or something like that.
Yeah, America Chavez.
But there's so many lines in the film that it felt like it was, even if it was unintended, it was almost like every time somebody said America, they're actually talking about the U.S. and then they'd say something about America, and it just felt like they were literally talking about the United States in real world current. Like, they used her name as a way of like working that in. So, like, at one point in the film, somebody, I think the line is literally, "Is America okay?" And I sat in the couch, I looked at him, and I said, "Are you fucking kidding me right now?"
The answer's no.
The answer's no. Oh, but the answer was like, yeah, no, she's gonna be fine, and like explaining all this shit. And I was like, oh my god, do we really have to, like, how reachy are we getting with this analogy right now? That's it was quite something, to say the least. So that was an experience. And again, maybe if I hadn't watched Everything Everywhere All at Once before, it might have got a minor bump in rating. But it definitely did not help that I watched that before seeing Multiverse. So, rip. Hopefully, Love and Thunder is a substantially better film, but I do feel like, I think the takeaway for me was, I think, this is the Marvel film, like the formula is getting fatigued now, and they need to, like, this would be the time to make a correction before it gets real bad. Don't just like keep fucking going until it's super dead. Like, you've seen it now. Maybe start making some small changes to keep the wheels on before it gets out of hand. But either way, yeah, that was an experience. And beyond that, I don't think we saw much else. I haven't certainly watched much else. I kind of want to watch what is this, like the Man from Toronto or whatever fucking...
Oh, is that the Kevin Hart one? I hear that wasn't very good.
Yeah, it looks terrible, but the name is baiting me as a Canadian because nobody cares about this country, and so anytime there's something related to Canada, I feel the urge to see it so that I can feel validated as a human being living on the planet. So I'll probably watch it. Also because what's his name is in it, and I have to Woody Harrelson, and so I have to see it because it mentions Canada and it has Woody Harrelson. So there's like the two check boxes that I have to
watch
I have
Hustle
to see
yet?
it. Hustle? No.
Yeah, with Adam Sandler, the basketball.
Oh no!
I watched
And
that. Pretty good.
I want to watch it. I have to either find time to watch it myself, or I have to convince Sam. One or the other. But I do want to watch it because apparently it's really good. And I think we talked about this before, is like, Adam Sandler, given the opportunity, is capable of acting. He's also capable of terrible 90s humor. But everyone has their weaknesses. We can't all be perfect human beings. Some of us are stuck in the 90s. I personally wish I could go back to the 90s. If I could, it'd be great. And yeah, I guess that's it, which means we have spun our tires here as long as humanly possible to drag this bitch out, but now it's time to move into
tech support.
Patreon.com/lagtv. It's a place to go if you want to financially support the podcast and keep this bad boy going, much like our man Zach, who has clearly remortgaged his home to be able to spend that much money on Technical Alpha. Thank you, and hopefully when you remortgaged, you locked in at a much better rate before hell froze over. But each and every week, post a topic up there called Tech Support, where you can ask us questions if you are $10 or more per month, and we answer as many of those as we can at the time that we got. So let's see what we got this week. This is a combo here, I guess, because Mark Furry was also commenting on this question. Vulcus asks, says first and then asks, so went and saw the Nova Scotia International Tattoo last week, and despite 3 years of rust, they're back in the saddle. In that same vein, have either of you been to the tattoo? And if so, what was your favorite memorable act? And he says, why is it the Flying Grandpas from Germany? The Flying Grandpas from Germany, as the name would imply, it's pretty good. Have you been to the tattoo before?
No, I haven't. Not my jam.
I went to the tattoo one time, many years ago, and it's good. I think anyone that has the opportunity to see it, like especially if like a family, it's a good family kind of an activity to go and check it out. If you're a drummer yourself, it'll obviously not a bad run. Not the whole thing is just a whole bunch of drumming, but there's a fair amount of it. And certainly worth checking out if you're in the area. Yeah, I enjoyed it. I mean, it's a very a lot of really skillful individuals from front to back that are involved in that production, and they do a wonderful job. And people from all over the world come to act in it, and of course watch it as well. Definitely something to go check out. And then Mark Furry said, saw the tattoo ages ago with an aunt and uncle that were both deaf, believe it or not, and they felt the drums before they saw them and were super excited. So apparently it's even good if you can't hear the shit.
Nice.
Oh yes. Oh, I forgot mentioning this, but that's funny. Man, I'm Hungry says Artosis is moving to Prince Edward Island. Any chance you guys might do a collab? Zero. Literally negative chance of that ever happening. I can't remember last time I was even on the island. I did see him. I did comment on his Twitter post. I believe he already has family living there or is from PEI originally. I can't remember which. Or it might be both. But either way, yeah, he is moving back there from Korea. Wish him all the best. The island is a beautiful place. If you already have family there, it's one of the only ways you're ever going to get onto the island without paying a shitload of money to be able to buy a property there. But if you are there, great food and great golf courses. It's like your two outputs, and potatoes, of course, is like the first thing a lot of people like Idaho.
PEI potatoes.
PEI potatoes. Which farm is it? Cavendish is the farm that does potatoes, I believe, in PEI. Mark Furry then asks, I'm on a plane. My 2-year-old is next to me. Has Kai been on a plane yet? No, Kai's barely seen the outside of the 4 walls of his home.
Pretty much, yeah. No, he hasn't been on a plane yet, but one day.
Danish Devil says, maybe something for Adam to think about with the new house. What is your home security plan? I know Mr. Black has his camera system. What's the next step if you see some crackhead banging at your door, other than calling the Mounties, of course? So here's my experience in general. So a camera system is a really good one to have if you're going that route for sure. Especially if you have a larger property and you're trying to keep tabs on more areas. Lots of people now are doing the doorbell camera deal, for example. That's another common one. Having been in 3 properties that have had alarm systems and pretty elaborate security setups, here's something I'm going to let you know right now. They don't fucking care. If they're like a legit, if they're not just some random crackhead, like you said, they're like breaking in your house to steal like a fucking piece of toast or some shit. If they have cased your place and they know there's shit in there that they want, that they have on a list, that somebody has like a pawn shop or some other fucking guy who's buying up a bunch of like very specific stuff, consoles, TVs, whatever else you get your hands on. They do it anyway. They don't care, because the reality is that it takes a very long time for the cops to actually show up at the door. Like the alarm goes off and they've got a minimum of 15 fucking minutes before the police will ever show up. And that is way more than enough time to get in, grab some shit,
your ass beat,
and get the fuck out.
Better do it when I'm not home.
Well, clearly, I don't know anyone.
I
I don't know anyone who has has had their home broken into when they were still at home. I'm talking about in general of just of a break-in when you're not home, which I've been. So in my experience, all the break-ins were when we weren't home, and so alarms are kind of neither here nor there. Are they nice to have? Yeah, as an additive, sure. The cameras are more effective because even if they get in and out, you have a shot at actually having them on camera, and much easier to work with that. Then. Beyond that, I mean, beyond that, the thing about home security is I feel like people live in like two camps. They either do it within reason or they get full paranoid and they go Fort Knox, where everything is fucking loaded up. And I did the same thing when my home was first broken into. So when my home was broken into and they stole some shit, you feel like your space has been violated. Somebody's been in your home, in your bedroom. Like they pulled all the shit out of our drawers. They were looking for, for anything to, jewelry, cash, whatever else they could get on top of what they were already there to try and take. And so you feel fucking violated, but so you're angry at first, and then you start thinking of all the ways you can stop it from happening again, and sometimes you overcorrect. So. That can happen sometimes. You get people that will start barring their fucking windows and we'll get the alarm system, but now they've got an alarm system plus glass break sensor plus fucking like 2 or 3 other sound related sensors and other things in the house. And then they've got they start investing in like I did, is solid core doors with fucking deadbolts going into rooms that have expensive shit in them, or you can go overboard with the shit. The reality is that the vast majority of break-ins, at least here, they're gonna do it if they think there's something in there, and they're probably gonna get out with something and not get caught a lot of the time. The only reason the guys that broke into my place got caught is because I had all the serial numbers to all the shit in my house, and I gave them over to police. And they just so happened to bust another group off of another break-in where my stuff was being housed. And it was linked to it. And they had a link of 4 months worth of break-ins across like 40 or 50 properties in that time. And they were stealing very specific shit because they were working for somebody that had a very specific list. And they were flipping a lot of it. Some of my stuff was already sold by the time they found the stuff. So yeah, it's if you're interested in if you're living in a place where you're really concerned somebody's going to break in while you're still home, I mean, for one, God fucking bless you. 2, all you got at that point is, I guess, arm yourself, fucking, and then hope that you're in a place that has castle doctrine. When the time comes.
I wouldn't give a shit anyway. Somebody breaks in my house, I got a hunting shotgun, someone's dying. I mean, I'll go to jail. I mean, I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna protect my family. You're dead.
Yes.
Yeah,
Clearly,
it's just really that simple. I'll go to prison. Let's protect my family. I don't give a shit.
Clearly, yeah, but that's still not ideal.
No, it's not ideal, but it's
going to prison for murder is even if you protect your family is a pain in the ass.
Yeah, it's you have a son and a wife or a daughter or whatever at home, and you're the protector. I mean, you're gonna give them a fair warning, but you're gonna do whatever it takes. This is just that simple.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, and anyone's gonna do that shit. Nobody's gonna be defending their home, going, "Oh fuck, I'm gonna go to jail for this." Like nobody thinks.
You're
about
not even
that.
thinking about that, bro.
No,
you're thinking somebody's in my house. Somebody's gonna hurt my family. I need to do something.
Yes.
So whether that's a gun, a knife, a baseball bat,
whatever it is,
club, whatever it is, someone's getting hurt.
Yeah. Well, so
so if you're gonna break in, you may as well do it when somebody's not home, because
Well, and that's clearly why the vast majority are doing it when nobody's home, because the vast majority aren't interested in having to fight their way out of the fucking house.
Yeah.
Like they're interested in getting their shit and leaving as fast as possible. The people that break into houses are bitches. They're literally the lowest form of criminal. Is somebody that breaks into somebody's house when they're not home and steals some shit and violates their space. They're the lowest form of criminal. They're the biggest pussies on the planet. Full fucking stop. Unfortunately, it still happens once in a while. And so, you know, for me, because of that, you know, I have security measures. I'll do a solid core door. I'll double deadbolt places and stuff like that to slow them down. They get in the house, now that, you know, I know that they're on a timer. They hit a solid core door, unless they've got a 250-pound dude capable of kicking a solid core door with 3.5-inch long screws, straight, pulling that shit straight through a fucking stud. If they got that guy, I don't want to be home either. Fuck it, the shotgun ain't gonna kill that dude. Fuck it, you take whatever you want. I'll buy that Xbox second time. So, like, I'll put stuff up to slow them down, but, like, you know, it's just, you know, you gotta walk the line between being paranoid and protecting, you know, your home and keeping it safe. So, yeah, that's just kind of, you know, my philosophy of it, because when you're in the moment, like, it's true. It's like what Jeff said. You're not thinking about it. You're just wanting to protect your home, protect the people in it. And so when mine was broken into, I came home, my front door was open, and I smelled the cigarette smoke in the air, and I went, that's fucking weird. I went upstairs, and I saw, before I even hit the top of the stairs, I saw the light in my bedroom, and I went, fuck. I went back downstairs, and I grabbed a knife out of the knife block, and I cleared the whole house. My brain I'm too stupid. Like, there could have been 4 people in that house. There could have been 3 dudes. There could have been a guy on watch and 2 people doing running, which is usually what happens, or at least 1 dude on watch, 1 dude doing the run. Outnumbered and shit. My brain not even thinking about that. My first thought was, I'm gonna take this knife, I'm gonna clear this whole house, and if a motherfucker's here, I'm killing him. That was the first fucking thoughts that entered my mind. It wasn't call the police, it wasn't go next door and call 911 and just chill and let them show up and do their thing. It was, no, I'm gonna clear this fucking
Instincts
house.
Kicked in. That was just the show, bro.
And you're ready to kill somebody. And that's, you know, so you want to just prepare as much as possible without getting paranoid.
Yeah, I don't have anything to add. My shit's just Fort Knox. I've got all those things, Adam said.
All of those things
and more.
I guess it also helps that, you know, sometimes, like, it also helps that legitimately we're both home 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
All the time, yeah.
So it's just like, you know, what in the fuck are you gonna do? Jono or Yano asks, you're a character in Everything Everywhere All at Once, and you need to get some special powers to survive an encounter. Which timeline do you go to, and what would be your weird action to activate that power? Oh, fuck.
I'm going with oof. I mean, I'm going with the martial arts. You know, like the crazy
I know
fighting.
Kung Fu.
Yeah, the Kung Fu. And to get into it, I would say I'd have to scratch my nails on a chalkboard.
Something you don't like?
No, I don't like it at all. Painful.
That is bad. That's no bueno at all.
Yeah, it hurts.
I'm not gonna say this is cheating, but I'm gonna just like borrow something. So I'm gonna go with the power of flight. But the way that I obtain it is I have to run into the back of a parked car in top gear on my bike and crush my left testicle.
Bad time too.
And for a brief moment, Mr. Black, I had the power of flight when I hit the back of that car.
I bet you did.
It didn't last very long, but I had it. It was there for the briefest of moments. And somebody said, "Aren't you something like 6'8"? Nah, I'm like 6'6" when I wake up in the fucking morning."
Adam, Adam's like, it's like Adam. The chat,
I get taller as time goes on.
Gets taller and bigger as the years go on.
The reality is, I'm getting older. I'm getting shorter. I measure myself first thing in the morning. I'm 6'6". By the end of the day, I'm like 6'5".
And 6 months from now, someone's gonna be like, "Adam, aren't you 7'1"?"
Can't you deadlift like 650 pounds? No, I can't pick the Olympic bar off the ground right now. I can't fucking do any of that shit you think I'm out here. And just because you're a big dude doesn't mean when somebody breaks into your home, you're like, all right, here we go. Time to cock my fists like fucking... Here we go. Time to go to war like I'm in Mission Impossible.
That's like what's his face did a fucking UFC fighter. UFC fighter. Oh, it's gonna come to me.
Fucking Henry Cavill out here.
Yeah, there's a UFC fighter. He fought John Jones. Somebody in chat know who I'm talking about? As soon as I say it to it,
he cocked his fists. He fucking like cocked his fists too, didn't he? He did like the fucking like.
I don't know if
the
he
Henry
did that.
Cavill.
But somebody broke into his house.
Oh that! Oh no! This! Oh yeah.
UFC fighter. Somebody broke into his house while him and his kids were there.
Yeah.
And he didn't want to kill the guy,
so he just maimed him instead.
Yeah, just beat the fuck out of him. But apparently, this guy that he beat up, he was like high on drugs and like just out of it, and he had like fucking. He's like, bro, the dude had like superhuman strength. He was like. He's like, dude, I'm a trained killer. Before. He's like, I'm a straight trained killer, and it took he's like, I almost had to kill him. He's like, I almost had to kill this dude because I was beating the living shit out of this guy to like, and he just wouldn't. He wouldn't stop. And he was like, I was gonna kill him, and then eventually, the guy just got worn out, and the cop showed up, but he had to like hold this dude. He was just high.
Dude, drugs literally make you fucking superhuman. It's crazy. It makes me. It reminds me of when we were younger, and that guy. I won't say names, but that guy showed up and wanted to fight Smitty, and before he came down to start shit, this dude was already like 5 years older than Smitty too. He's like, these are weird people who grew up around here. So he came down and he was like wanting to fight Smitty, and before he showed up, he took like 4 or 5 Tylenol 3s. The dude could barely speak like English. He was like numb everywhere. And
he wanted to feel nothing, Adam.
He wanted to feel nothing. And so he got it this way, he's like, oh, he sounded like Rocky, like, yo, Adrian! And Brian comes out to fight this guy, and he's like, he gets into this altercation, and Brian beat the fuck out of him, because he's on 4 Tylenol 3. Like, maybe if he wasn't so drugged out of his mind, he might have been like, I think in his mind he was thinking, oh, I'll still be like, with it. I just won't feel shit. I'm on the painkillers. I'll be fine. But nah, dude showed up. He'd struggled to play Connect 4 properly and started friggin' like trying to fight, and Brian just lit him up, but he wouldn't, like the guy that broke into his house, he just kept getting up because he couldn't feel anything. He was bleeding from every fucking orifice on his face. He had fallen face first into the curb twice. He got up, he's like, no, and just so much drugs. So you know, like when somebody breaks into your home, there is already a good shot that they're on drugs to begin with. so
Anthony
don't think
Smith. That's it. I just looked it up. Anthony
okay.
Smith. Yeah, yeah. But yeah, if you guys want to hear it, like you can go on like the Joe Rogan podcast or something, and I think he was on there and he told the story. It's crazy.
Oh, well, dude. And so that's the point, is that some people get in their mind that they're like, if somebody breaks into your home and, that you can just take them on and like, it's whatever, get them by surprise and just beat them up. Especially if you're like, you're a bigger dude like me or some shit, you get juiced up on adrenaline, you're like, it's just like, you like go try to kill somebody, and then you find out that they're gonna kill you instead.
But the thing is like, you can't even risk that. You can't even risk a fair fight. Like even if even if somebody came in and they were like 5'5",
no shot,
fucking wet paper bag, it's like,
no
dude,
shot.
You can't even risk it because you
got
family
a knife.
there.
They got a knife. You're like, stud.
You can't. You gotta just assume that they're gonna, it's gonna end bad.
Yeah. So just Anyway, but that did remind me of that when we were younger. That was the funniest thing. The dude. I still remember seeing him walk down the hill, and he barely made it down the hill. He was like, fucking. I thought he was drunk, and it turns out he just couldn't feel anything. His fucking body's just hopped up on codeine. You can't. No, where's Brian? He got lit up. He went home. Eventually, as it turns out, it doesn't make you a better fighter. You just don't feel anything. It doesn't really improve your ability to fight. Yano's follow-up is the future vegan? Are you guys on board, or do you like to eat meat way too much to switch? Vegan, okay, here's my take. This is very simple, all right? Any diet at all, veganism, whatever the fuck you want, what other ones you want, any diet that you try to do for the long term. So let's say you're going to change it for life, not short term in the idea that you're going to do it just to lose weight and then like start switching stuff back in and normalize again. Like some people will do keto in order to do that, or fasting, things of that nature. Any long-term diet that by the nature of the diet require you to use supplements to not die is not a good diet. Full stop. So vegan diets very specifically have several mildly vital vitamins, minerals that you do not get enough of or at all in many vegan diets without supplementing. So no, don't do that. Humans are omnivores. We are meant to eat a little bit of everything. Not all meat, not all vegetables. Little bit of column A, little bit of column B. We have more than enough food on Earth to feed everyone. The problem is that it's not equally distributed amongst the world. That's the problem. It's not the amount of food that we're generating. It's the distribution of said food. And I don't mean in terms of like certain people are hoarding food. I mean literally just you can't. There are places that produce so much food, but you just can't distribute the shit efficiently and effectively. So like we're good there. So it's not about like, oh, we need to go vegan or the world's gonna die because there's too much methane from cows taking a shit in the fucking field. That ain't really the thing, and nor would it be something that I would subscribe to. The closest thing that I would is I'd reduce my red meat, because too much red meat is a bad time. We do know that the body is not a big fan, especially in today's.
Fucks me up. It fucks me up. Now, like I know part of my stomach issues is red meat. If I eat too much red meat, my stomach goes
like a rock, bro.
My stomach goes, hey, you want to have the shits for the next 48 hours? You want to be salty as fuck? So, yeah. But, yeah, no, vegan is not the future.
No.
All right?
Vegan's not even the present.
No, bro. Listen, man, most people that are vegans have, like, some kind of
There's a
feeling.
Reason why,
Exactly.
maybe.
It's like a political reason or a belief system. Not necessarily they can't eat meat. It's just like, oh, the poor animals. And hey, I'm not gonna make fun of them. It's whatever. It's
you do you.
You do you, boo. But if I ever hear somebody walk up to me or comment when I'm eating a burger that I'm killing an animal, I'm gonna say, get the fuck out my face as I eat the burger. It's really just that simple, because I'm a human being. So,
it's true.
I don't.
It's true.
No,
it's not the future, to say the least. Dr. Samurai said, guys, there's a Starship Troopers RTS. What? Okay, let me open this to Steam link. One sec. It was real. Oh shit. Okay, so this was released 2 weeks ago. Okay. Let's load a cutscene. Yeah, that looks like an RTS. It doesn't look completely awful. What's the reviews like? Not bad. Very positive. 86% of 3,059 reviews. Not terrible.
It looks like Command and Conquer.
It does look a little Command and Conquer, which makes sense, really, if you think about it.
Yeah.
What are my thoughts? Great. Yeah, sure.
Sure.
Also, go comb the desert. I think that's the right movie reference. I might be fucking that up. I might actually just be an idiot. Let's see. Oh, this is a dangerous question that I probably don't have an answer to. Roran asks, if you could change one thing about your significant other, what would it be? Also, what do you think your significant other would change about you? Bigger dick, clearly, would be a good start. Maybe some more hair. I think those are the top two selections. More hair, bigger penis. For me. Coincidentally, that would be what I would change about her. More hair, bigger penis. I think that's a great, goes both ways. Two-way street. It's great.
What would Kayla change about me? I would say are we talking like physical attributes?
Just anything. I just made a meme.
I mean, I don't know. Probably probably work a little less.
Yeah, that's the one. If I could change anything, M has the coldest hands and feet in the world. At all, not even her coworkers, her fellow females at work want to touch her hands because they're ice cold like 24 fucking hours a day. And of course, like all women, when they have cold hands and feet, they gravitate towards their man and start putting those in the warmest areas of the body that nobody should ever put when their hands and feet are so cold. And so that's definitely a good one. I would say that's probably the easiest one that wouldn't get me in trouble. is to say that. Outside of a larger penis and more hair, I suspect that she'd probably like me to, I don't know. I think she'd want me to just like work less, but do like more focused work because I'm scattered right now. Poor M came into my life when my career shambles, comparatively speaking to the previous like 9 years. Complete fucking shambles, just chalked. My career just fucking chalked, and now we're building the house and doing all this stuff. And so she, bless her, apparently is willing to stay with me despite being in shambles. So if I can get that sorted out, now we're talking. She might even ignore the loss of hair and the small penis. Oh, let's not get too far. Maybe only one of those two things. But it might help.
What would I change about Kayla? That's tough because that's like a trap. That's like a
that is a trap. That is a trap.
I would say, that if she would get up about 30 minutes before Kai wakes up.
Okay.
Because, I'm not like a morning person, but if I wake up in the morning, and I'm usually awake between 5:30 and 6 a.m., it's just when I wake up every day. I can't shake it. Because I take my like oils and stuff, and then I fall asleep. I fall asleep pretty early, so like 10:30, 11 o'clock, I'm gone. So I mean, I still get my decent amount of sleep. But she Kai wakes up at around 6:30. Sometimes at 6, but usually 6:30, sometimes 7. So right between 6 and 7. And if she just got up at 6:30 and got up, had a shower, got herself a coffee, relaxed, she wouldn't feel so rushed, I guess, in the mornings. Because she'll sleep until the very last minute and some.
Can't blame her.
I don't blame her. But it's annoying. It's a bit annoying for me because, if I'm trying to go back to sleep or trying to just prepare myself, she's like, the alarm's going off every 5 minutes. The fucking baby monitor's going off.
Does the same thing. She's got like 17 alarms.
Yeah, I'm like, Kayla, like 5 more minutes isn't changing your morning. Like, just get up. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's probably the only thing that is like, and it's not even a big deal. Like, I've been dealing with it for years, so it's like whatever. But I just think she would be happier in general just to like get up, and instead of getting up and just, brushing her teeth and rushing to Kai, it's like, get up and change, have a shower, grab a coffee, watch the sun come up. Just prepare yourself mentally instead of just like, But once again, I don't deal with Kai all day, so it's easier for me to say, right? If I was dealing with him all day, every day, I'd probably want my extra
Want that 5 minutes?
10 minutes. But yeah.
It's true. Yeah, M's the same way with her alarm. Like, she'll set an alarm, and let's say, she'll set an alarm at if it's a day off, let's say, or she's working night shift, so she wakes up like late morning, just before the afternoon, to eat something, and then she goes back to sleep before night shift starts. And I'll be in bed with her, obviously, sleeping, and she'll have like 5 alarms that span an hour or like 45 minutes.
I couldn't see that shit would just make me rage. I would just say no. Yeah, I'd say no. We can't do this. Just if I hear more than I'll let one of those go. You know what I mean? Like, you do one, take an extra 5-10 minutes, put on sleep. That second alarm goes off, you can get the fuck up, because I can't. You're fucking up with my shit now, because because I'm waking up every time. I don't sleep through that shit, right? So it's just like, nah, bro, that ain't it. No. Hell no. For 45 minutes to an hour, like every 5-10 minutes, no, bro. No.
She's gotten better about it, because I did come down on her for it at some point, where I was like, look, we got to time out this shit. Look, 5 alarms. 2? Okay. Yeah. That's the classic. Alarm goes off, snooze, and then second one. All right, we got to get up now.
Time to suck it up, because you're fucking it up for everybody.
3 or 4 more?
Oh, hell no. Hell no.
You can't do that.
There's only been a couple of times where I've told Kayla, time to get up. You know what I mean? Like, no, this ain't it.
Oh, I will. Oh, here, I'll change this one. I'll change this one too. I'm gonna get in trouble. Well, I've already told her this one, so it doesn't matter. It's similar to the alarm thing, and it's ironic because it's almost hypocritical. So there are mornings where I don't have to be at the house right away, or she's not working first thing in the morning, and maybe I streamed a little later that last night, and so I'm just I'm not getting up at the usual time, and I'm just tired. I just want to sleep for a little bit longer. And so, my alarm will go off, and I'll turn my alarm off, and I'll just go back to sleep, and usually it's another 45 minutes to an hour, and then I'm up. If I need sleep, I'll sleep. If I wake up and I feel like, I want to sleep, but I'm not necessarily tired, I'll just force myself to get out of bed. But if I wake up and I feel like I haven't slept yet, my ass is going to go back to sleep if I don't have arrangements. Like, if I don't have to be out of bed and I feel like ass,
and you ain't going to bed. Yeah.
If my two options are wake up and feel like ass for the whole day, or sleep for another hour and feel like functioning, I'm sleeping. Yeah. So I'll turn my alarm off, whatever, I'll roll back over, and so many times I'll get her poking at me, like, time to wake up now? And I'm like, who is? Me? Nah. No, I'm trying to sleep right now. And be like, no, time to get up, time to get up, time to get up. Time to get up, gotta go do this, gotta go do that. And I'm like, no, I don't. I had none of that. If I'm sleeping, I need you to understand. I was like, I need you to understand something. If I'm asleep, it's because I know I can afford to sleep and I need to sleep. I'm not doing it for fun. I'm not like, oh, fuck it. Yeah, I'm gonna just pass some more time.
Today. No.
Yeah, no. It means I need to sleep. So stop waking me up, please. And then I'll get out of bed, make breakfast or whatever. And while I'm making breakfast, who's in bed? Set 5 alarms going off, and so just the irony is just so fucking thick. This is crazy. So just I had to stop that. I got real upset. This is probably a month and a half, 2 months. I'm super tired, and she kept waking me up, and I was like, no. It's like, I got it. I've been on edge for about 4 years now. I'm a different person for about 4 years now. But in general, I still think that I have more patience for a lot of bullshit than most people when it comes to friends, family, whatever. I'll put up with a lot of shit before I snap. The one thing that I have almost no patience for is somebody fucking with my sleep, because I don't normally sleep well to begin with. So if somebody starts interrupting my sleep,
that ain't it.
That's a bad choice. And
Yep.
eventually, after months of this, I was like, look, it's gotta stop. It's gotta stop. If I'm sleeping, it's because I need to. It's not because I'm just doing it for fun.
Yeah, Kayla's good about that. Like if I lay in bed till 9 o'clock, she just lets me do my thing. Just because she knows if I'm in bed, like I need to sleep. Because if I'm tired during the day, bro, I'm not only am I cranky as fuck, but like I just can't. I can't operate. I just like my whole days are right off. Like I can't do anything.
I'm spacing out.
Yeah,
I'm just
bro.
staring off into the distance. Like everything is way too easy to distract me. Can't do like fucking anything. Like everything is like it's hard to form fucking sentences. You're streaming and you're trying to speak English, but you're speaking Latin. Like nothing quite
I don't
works
mind
the same
being
way.
tired on the odd day, but I can't do it on a regular basis. You know?
No.
Might
It
be
was
once
like
a week where I'm like, I probably should take a nap. And usually, if I feel that way, I'll take a nap. You know?
Yes.
Like I'm not. If I'm tired during the day, I'm like, all right, stream. I'm gonna call it here at 3 o'clock, and then I'm up to
Gonna
bed
have
and
a
I'm
nap.
having a nap for an hour and a half. This is how I am. I don't care.
There's M has got the M's got the grind set mentality. And and I'm the opposite of that. Polar opposite in terms of like I'm gonna work hard, but if I need to sleep,
I'm sleeping.
I'm sleeping. Because that's what's gonna keep me alive past 40. So I'm gonna do it when I can. Please and thank you. Like M takes a day off from work and she's worked like 4 12-hour shifts. And she's like, I gotta do something. She's constantly asking me what she can do to like keep herself busy. I'm like, I don't know, fucking just relax. You just worked 60 hours in a loony bin in 4 days. Just fucking chill. Just relax. But let your body recuperate. You know, to let it regenerate. You don't have to like. There's nothing like if it's like. Is there anything at the house I can do? I'm like, well, yeah, I can go and like give you a sanding block, and you can sand a wall for the next fucking 8 hours. It's not going to make the house go any faster. Just relax, deep breaths. But I get it though. Like, cause right now the times are fucking crazy. The economy is nuts. We're not super wealthy, so it's like every minute that we're not doing something. To her, it feels like we're like getting closer and closer to like collapse, and so I get it. It could be a challenge to turn that off, but like, yeah, I live my life at 80%. I've done it for a long time. I'm so comfortable with that because I can still do good work, crank it out. I can grind when I need to, but I'm gonna live it at that 80%. The rest of that 20, me sleeping. It's what it is. I'm sleeping. Don't bother me.
Gotta do what you gotta do.
You know what else I gotta do? Stop dragging this podcast on. We made it to an hour 40. No, hour 32. Hour 33 almost.
There you go.
Good enough. Mr. Max was black. We're gonna call it there. It's another end of a Tech Dolphin podcast. Thank you guys so much for stopping by and hanging out. We'll see you guys next week where hopefully literally anything happens at all for us to talk about. Would be wonderful. Bless you. Shoutouts once again to Zach for remortgaging his home, to put another $250 into the Patreon pool. And if anyone else is feeling like doing that, I'm not going to stop you. Feel free to send yourself into financial ruin on my behalf. I'll take it. And until next week, guys, stay safe out there, and peace!
Peace.